And when the enemy tells you that you'll never make it through that problem or circumstance, when he says you're not enough, when he tries to remind you of everything you did wrong or all the failed situations in your life, you gotta snatch that fool by the throat. Remind him who you are and whose you are. Put your foot on his neck. When I say run me my crown, I stand boldly and I look the enemy square in the eye and I tell him to run me everything he stole from me. Everything that God says is mine, run it back. My peace, my joy, love overflowing, wisdom, power, purpose, run it back. 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 Who you are. Run it back. Who you are. Run it back. Who you are. Run it back. Put your foot on his neck. Baby, listen. Sometimes the person I need to tell to run me my crown is me. Sometimes I'm the one that needs to be reminded of who I am. Sometimes I'm the one that needs to be reminded that I'm a child of the Most High King and I was already born fierce, foxy, and fine. I was born worthy. My daddy owns all of this. And it's time I act like it. We all go through, right? But in the spirit of sisterhood, I'm sharing my story transparently so that you don't have to tarry alone. Don't let the enemy make you believe that isolation is of God. He's a whole fool, sis. Healing happens in community, and sisterhood saved my life.
Woohoo! Happy Tuesday! And
Happy
welcome
Tuesday.
to another episode of the Run Me My Crown radio show. Listen, I am Dewana, aka Foxy's baby. I'm excited to be here yet another Tuesday, another opportunity to share soul secrets and sisterhood. And tonight will be no different. Listen, y'all know, listen, y'all know my friends are the bomb. Okay. For the last, I believe 12 weeks or so, I have introduced to you yet another powerhouse sister that I am privileged to be in community with. And when I say sisterhood saved my life, I'm not joking when I say this. I mean every bit of this. Now, this one is real personal, though. This one right here, we were almost twins, but she wanted to play games. She wanted to play games, be a couple of days and a few years too late. But listen, I'm excited to have my sister Boo Thang, my pretty friend, Jeanna Byrd. How are you, love?
Hey, girl. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show.
You're so welcome. And listen, I got to tell the world, this right here is one of my biggest fans, okay? If I ain't got to worry about whether or not Jeanna Byrd is going to be on live every single Tuesday.
Yeah.
But to have the opportunity to have her, live and in person, us to be able to communicate and converse and to really share this wealth of information. And I really want to hop right into it because I know how amazing it is. And, having the opportunity to, be under your tutelage for the last couple of months, really, and being able to understand what the Enneagram is, what my actual personality traits, how they actually, it's very interesting to say the least. And so I normally don't do this, but I want to do this just because I don't want to leave anything out. And I think it's so pertinent to actually, just talk about who you are. Obviously, youthebombdiggity.com. So I'm going to read your brief bio that you shared with me. And I was so impressed, of course. And so I'm just going to quickly read it. So, of course, Jeanna Byrd, your certified Enneagram coach, is a Baltimore native. Woo woo, Baltimore. I still ain't calling it home, but it's all good. One of these days, I only been here almost 20 years, but that's enough. Philly to the heart. But with over 5 years experience being employed in the federal judiciary, she has become well acquainted with successfully working with a variety of personalities, from judges to deputy clerks, judicial assistants, attorneys, the public, you can stop right there, Jesus, the public, and many more. Her skill level is simply stellar. She has been able to achieve additional certifications in both mental health first aid and emotional intelligence. And so, I thought that was just so key to just share because, of course, I met you, I guess I want to say it's probably been, I feel like I've known you forever, but I know it has to be like maybe around 4 or 5 years, maybe. I don't know. Like,
No,
how you just feel like somebody's always been there?
I think it's been longer than that. So
Okay.
I think we probably met in 2016.
Okay.
So would that be 5 years?
Yeah, it'd be just about 5. And but I feel like, we've always kind of like from the moment we met, it was just like we were like this. So I'm like, no, she's been there from the beginning. There's no way it's only been 5 years. But the reality is we met on Facebook. We met through a Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a testament to what you truly desire out of social media is what you're going to get. I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, Facebook is the devil and all that kind of. Child, no, the devil might be in you. But over here, we make connections. We build community. We doing the Lord's work around here. So
this is true.
And so it just, it speaks volumes to the fact that I met you. You were literally a stranger. But quickly became my sister girl, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And so of course I've seen you over the years transition from, the single mom life to now the bombdiggity.com married life. You better show it. Do it. Shout out to my bro Darius. I'm so excited for you guys. What, it's been 2 years, almost 2.5 now.
2 years.
Time be flying.
It do.
Listen.
Literally bird.
And listen, let me tell y'all, for those of you who are out there, whether in Facebook or YouTube live land, or even if you catch this in the podcast world, when I tell you I have to have loved these people so much, because on the day of their wedding, honey, when I say it was 1,000 degrees outside, and they had a garden wedding.
We did.
In July.
But
July.
Wait, stop. You got to go back, because I think this really sets the tone for just talking female friendships tonight, because Darius and I got engaged. We had an engagement party a year out from our wedding date, and on the day of our engagement party, it poured down raining.
It sure did.
It was pouring. It was in the evening time, and I will never forget when you came in. You said to me, "You are lucky you are my friend, because girl, if you wasn't, I would stand in the house." And at that moment, I knew that our friendship was cemented in heaven, because you came out for me in the rain on a Saturday night. It was pouring buckets of rain when you came out.
It was. And anybody who knows me knows how much I despise. Not anymore, though. But back then, I definitely despised rain.
Yeah.
But then I had a shift where God was like, but you only really don't like the rain when you don't have any seed in the ground.
Ooh. So you
got me together real quick.
So, I mean, you want to harvest. We want to harvest. We got to ask God to send down the rain.
There it is. So got me together real quick. And I said, oh, okay. So nowadays, I embrace the rain, just like I embrace, every season. Still never really liked the cold. Of course, I've been dealing with it all my life. But again, just embracing every season and understanding how necessary every single season is to the journey.
Yeah.
And so, but you're absolutely right. It definitely speaks volumes to the relationship that we've cultivated and the fact that you are legit my sister girl. Like, we may
All
not be
day.
able to get together all the time, but if you call, baby,
And even that, last summer, you just like, I'm in the neighborhood. Me and Darius like, come through. You just pop up at our house. Like,
yes.
we love you.
Oh, and you know the love is so real. I love y'all too so much. So much. So yeah, so talk to me about how you actually became an Enneagram coach and what the Enneagram is.
Okay, so the Enneagram is a typology tool, much like Myers-Briggs, Strength Finders, except the Enneagram helps you to discover the why behind your personality. So it doesn't just stay on the surface level as I'm an extrovert, I'm an introvert. It
Right.
goes really deep in your personality to help expose why you're an introvert, why you're extrovert, why you're this way, why you're that way. And so the Enneagram, the word Enneagram is Greek. So Ennea meaning 9, gram meaning drawing. So on this drawing that's in the shape of almost a circle, there are 9 different points, and each 9 points represents 9 different personality types, in which it's believed that we all fit into one of these 9 dominant personality types. So that's just the Enneagram on the surface. Of course, it goes a lot deeper with the coaching part that I do.
Right.
And my mother is who introduced me to the Enneagram. And so when she introduced me to it, I practically fell in love. I became immersed with all things Enneagram. I'm talking, I was reading books. I was in the Barnes and Noble for hours, just walking the aisles, picking up books off the shelf. I was on the internet Googling, like whatever it was Enneagram related, I was immersed because I literally fell in love with it when I heard about it. I felt like this is what God called me to do. And so because of that, I said, well, you know what? Let me take a leap of faith. Let me look into becoming certified. And so I ran it past my husband, and he looked at the certification price and he was like, huh? Who? Jeanna, that got a comma in it. And I was just like, yeah, I know, but I really want to do it. And he was like, if you think you can do it, then I co-sign and let's get it done. And so I went after my certification and I was able to get it. It took a while because it's so much material. I mean, so much material. So I went through and I was able to get certified. So here I am.
Yes, and congratulations on that. Congratulations to both of you. The fact that Darius actually supported you in, your feet to say, okay, I'm gonna do this. But the reality is that we need that support, whether it be from our spouse or, even our children, parents, and the fact that your mom was the one that even introduced you. I think that's so strong, to that relationship. And shout out to Miss Kathy. Hey, girl. But yeah, so and I know I've looked at the chart so many times and never realized, that of course, obviously all words stem from somewhere, right? But never really realized the root until just now. And I'm like, oh, that's right. So okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So indeed, so that's very enlightening. So, I guess, I'm gonna kind of throw the ball in your court to kind of walk us through how do we do this? How do we determine who we are and why we are who we are?
So one of the first things that I have my clients do is I have them take the test. So the test basically types you based on how you're answering the assessment. And that will help to determine which of these 9 dominant types you fall into. And so I'm a type 4. And when I first read what a type 4 was, I was just like, whoa. And my husband was like, that is absolutely you. 100%. That is Jeanna. And so once my client gets typed, then we start going through the process. And my whole trajectory goal with my clients, I know there are different Enneagram coaches that do different things. My whole trajectory with coaching is to make certain that my clients come into how God authentically created and wired them. I want them to be who God created them to be, not someone else, not feeling like they're lacking because they're not like her, or they don't quite measure up because they don't have what he has. I want my clients to embrace who God created them to be. That's just it. And by doing that, I help steer them back to God's word and just reaffirming who God says that they are through their personality type.
I love it. I love it. And that's something that I stand strongly in, is just being yourself. Like, nobody can be you better than you. And the reality is God created all of that goodness.
Yep.
Just be you. Stop trying to compare yourself to this one or that one. Definitely just stand in who you are and who God created you to be. So I'm glad that is the foundation of, how you actually relate to your clients, because I feel like that alone just makes the difference.
Yep.
When you start there.
Yep, absolutely. And I think it takes the pressure off of people, because I think too much in society now, we're almost taught to, whatever you see on Instagram, you need to mimic. You need to do whatever people are doing so you can get the likes, so you can get the comments, so you can get the shares, so you can do all of this. And it's kind of like, well, people actually begin to lose a lot of their identity because they're just trying to be someone that they're not, or they feel like something's wrong with them, like they should feel ashamed, or that they have to not be exposed, like, because I don't want people to know that I'm like this, so they keep it to themselves, and that's not healthy either. And so the other goal with my coaching is that I want people to experience a healthy side of their personality, but to also know when they're going towards the unhealthy side, so they're like, oh, let me go back. Because after all, we want people to feel like it's a joy to be around us. Like, they look forward to it. It's pleasant. Like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait. If people are like, I'd rather not.
Right.
And that's kind of the theme all the time, then there may be something wrong with how you're coming off. And maybe not the other people. It might be you. Just always coming into a room starting trouble all the time. So I mean, hey.
Yes, always coming in, shaking tables, tearing things up. Like, come on, get your life together. Get your life together.
Put it back.
But that's the absolute truth. And I think that's key, that individuals would actually recognize that and say, because like even before we got on, I was sharing with you, I said, sometimes I find that I've been doing a thing so long, and you're like, that ain't right. You've already made the switch to go this route, but every now and again you start kind of, pulling back to that old way, and you're like, no, we don't do that anymore. That is the old me. But, I think it's so crucial that as we embrace who we are, that we're also always trying to become better, of course, right? And even though we know God created us and all of that goodness that we are today, but there's so much more goodness that he has for us. So it's not enough for me to stay the amazing person you see today. I need to be the amazing person he says that is in my destiny, right? Yeah. So I think that, that's key as well. So, but listen.
Always just constantly growing. And if we are creations of Christ, then when he says that he'll do the exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ask, imagine, or think,
that's what
part of that is our growth. And I've always said that change is optional. It's kind of like, I don't feel like it, maybe I want to, I don't know, but growth is very deliberate. It is, I am going to move. I don't care what the weather looks like outside. I don't care who's showing up or who's not. I don't care if I got enough clothes to go. I don't care if I got enough gas in my car. I am going. That is a very deliberate decision, versus change is kind of optional. Like, maybe I feel like it today, maybe I don't. I don't really care. Maybe I talk to him, maybe I won't. I don't know. So it's kind of like that back and forth.
I feel attacked, y'all. Wait a minute.
Don't feel attacked. Don't feel attacked. It's the enemy. It's the enemy.
The devil made me do it.
Yeah. That constant blame game that we do.
That is the absolute truth, though. You know, like it takes that deliberate, literally the decision, right? And years ago, I remember one of my coaches saying that, you know, the word decision, it derives from something has to die. You gotta say what it is that, you know, you're going to do. So whatever the other thing is has to die. So when you make that decision, and everything starts with a decision, whether you're going to eat that fried chicken or you're going to be like, sis, pull back from that table, go ahead, turn your plate down and fast just this one time.
I'm gonna eat it.
But you know, or am I going to go to the gym, or am I going to go ahead and, you know, sleep an extra hour? You know, just whatever the particular decision is. And it's funny that I see bro then hopped on here. He said amen. And as I'm talking about eating fried chicken. We love you though. I'm gonna get my life together eventually. But seriously though, but yeah, you know, just recognizing that everything starts with a decision. Every single thing that we ever do in life starts with a decision. Nothing really happens by chance. You know, and so just living a more purposeful life, you know, deciding to make more intentional decisions, deciding that I don't want to stay the same. I want to become better. I want to become bolder, bigger, you know, and not physically, Jesus. That's not what I mean. I don't want to become bigger in that way.
Oh God, why are you like this?
Listen, I'm gonna be who I am. I can't help it. But bro said he ain't judging nobody. He a coach, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you. Okay, from the depths of my soul. But yes, but yeah. So you know, you make the decision that you decide you want to, you know, to grow. You're no longer just going to go with the flow. Because in fact, my brother-in-law always says only dead fish go with the flow. And boy, that thing sat with me for a long while.
And let me tell you how my sister has said for so long that if you're not growing, you're dead. Dead things don't grow.
That's right.
And it's just like, oh, wait a minute.
Either dead or fake. You ever try watering a fake plant?
Right. Yeah, like wait a minute. Like, so it definitely puts a lot of things into perspective. Like, if your spiritual life isn't growing, if it looks the same as it did last month, my gosh. If your relationships look the same, y'all still having the same problems, something is wrong here. It needs to change. And it's nothing wrong with being the first person to make the switch.
Right.
Like, because sometimes we feel like I don't want to do it, especially in friendship. So just keeping with the theme of tonight, it may be like, no, I don't want to do it. Like, she need to say something to me first. I'm not saying nothing to her. But my gosh, how much does it take just to reach out to somebody and say, hey, look, I'm just checking on you. Is everything okay? Is there something that's wrong? Something that I need to know? Like, how long does it take to just do that, to help remedy what could be catastrophic? Because ugly situations don't represent Christ. That's just the bottom line. Yeah. And our goal is to make God look good, not to make God look like he's a fraud.
That's it. You can drop the mic right there. That's it, and that's all. Not the pen.
Yeah, gang pen. Yeah, there we go. There you go.
I love it. But yes, I mean, you're absolutely right. And that's the reality, is that anything that I do anymore, you know, my goal is, of course, to represent he who created me, he who, you know, I embody all of who he is me. I am, you know, like, I just do my best to, in being who I am, show the world what it looks like when he gets a hold of you for real.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't mean that of course you're changed, but it doesn't mean that you can't still be yourself. You can't still have fun and still be saved. You can still act like you got some sense, but have a good time.
Because you did that at my wedding reception. I saw you. I saw you doing that at my wedding reception. I saw it and I was just like, oh, okay. Y'all better get out her way.
Anybody listen. If y'all know, y'all know. Okay. One thing about me is music is my love language. Okay. Especially if you play It Takes Two.
There she go. Everybody.
DJ rock. Now I know I'm only 21, so I really shouldn't know that song. But when I tell you I've been dancing to that song since I was 9 years old, it has been my absolute, it's a game changer for me, especially with my journey and all of the trials that I've had to overcome. For me, music was my safe space, right? Mm-hmm. So whether it was those sad, heart-wrenching songs to songs like It Takes Two, and all you hear is and it's a rap, right? So, but wherever I am in life, I can always relate certain songs to where I was, who I was with, what might have been going on. And music has always been a staple for me. I can listen to music even before we got on. Did I not play music?
Yeah.
I'm not really big on TV. I'm not big on, we got to watch something, although I will. But music, it's always somewhere in the background for me. And so, yeah, they played that song, and child, I tore that corner up. You hear me? And I often say, "Ooh, if she ever see that video, she gonna be like, what?
We saw it. Like you had your whole little segment in our wedding video. You was getting it, and we was just like, okay.
Listen. I was celebrating. There was plenty to celebrate. I was ecstatic for my brother and sister. So that's it, and that's all. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thank you.
But yeah, so let's talk more about the 9 types and how they might relate, because I know we talked about even relating them to sitcoms that we are familiar with. So let's dive in.
All right, so here we go. So I'm gonna go 1 through 9 and pull out some old school. Well, they would be considered old school. Black TV sitcoms, some characters, and because we're talking female friendships, I'm gonna pull out all women. All right.
Okay.
So here we go.
Now I'm only 21, so these ones I'm gonna
know. What? Why?
I'm only 21 again for like the 24th year, but nonetheless.
All right. Well, let's jump.
Aquarius season is on the way.
All right.
I'm gonna get it together.
Let's
go
jump
ahead.
into it. Okay. So type 1. Type 1s are perfectionists. Everything has to be perfect for them. If it's not perfect, they're gonna tell you about it. So who do we have as our type 1? We have Regine from Living Single. So I got some notes here. So if I'm looking down, it's because I want to make certain I don't forget anything. So with Regine, she had her wigs. All her wigs had to be fly. Her clothes were fly. And when people didn't dress right, she said something about it. Like so type 1s, if something's not right with the way you cross your T or dot your I, 1s are certainly gonna be like, that's not how you do that. This is how you do it. So she even got on people for how they dressed. She'd say whatever it was that pretty much came to mind. She always clowned her mother for wearing those gauchos all the time. Always clowned her mother for wearing those gauchos. Her cooking, her party hosting was always on point to a T. It was always impeccable. Although for quite some time she could never keep a man. So no matter how perfect Regine was, she could never keep a man. But overall, Regine, she was a good friend. She helped Khadijah a lot. She helped Sinclair, and even when Max plucked her nerves from eating at their house every day, she was a good friend. So if you have a friend that's a perfectionist, that's a type 1, regardless, she's still a darn good friend.
Absolutely.
So type 2s are helpers. And they want to help everybody. They believe that they know more of what you need than you
Right.
more of what you need. So it's kind of like, I already know, like, Holy Spirit told me this is what you need, and I'm running to the rescue. So type 2, I put down Kim from A Different World. And so, as you know, Kim was in school to be a medical doctor.
Right.
And she was Mr. Gaines's like star worker at the pit. So whatever Mr. Gaines needs, she was always there, always did everything. If you remember the episode where Ron, his band was performing and they weren't doing too good, and she actually said that she would be there like lead singer and sing. Girl, she had that wig on. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But she came through.
Mess.
She came through as much as she could till her head got a little too big.
Right.
But one of the episodes that really marked her being a helper and knowing what someone else needed was the episode where Whitley and Dwayne got married. So it was the episode before where Whitley had left her earrings. And she had drove back to the college to get her earrings for her because she knew she needed them for her wedding day. That is a helper. So if you have a friend that's a helper, be sure to say thank you. I know sometimes they may be a little overwhelming in their approach to just kind of want to be up on you and trying to do everything for you. But that's just how God has wired their heart. Be sure you say thank you because they certainly like to hear the kudos.
Well, listen, Jessica's on here from Facebook Live, and she said she's a type 2 child.
That's my Jessica. Hey, Jess.
So thank you, Jess.
Love you.
For being the helper. Listen, we all need that help.
And Jessica is. So let's just plug her business. The Millionaire Midwife. She helps businesses. She helps scale businesses. If your business needs any help, look her up. The Millionaire Midwife. She's on Facebook. You'll be able to find her. And get
that help.
Going on.
Get that help for real.
Get that help. 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 So speaking of Jessica, so I'm not certain how much of Jessica's profile picture people can really see, but we're getting into type 3, and type 3 is the overachiever, the successful overachiever. They're like the booster. They're like, I got a little bit of this. I got a little bit of that. I can do this. I can go here. I drive this. This is where I'm vacationing. Everything. That would be Whitley. Jessica reminds you of Whitley in the way she looks. She does. But yes, Whitley. She had money.
Yes. Okay. Never had a problem with the coin.
Never had a problem with the coin at all. Her father's status, he was a judge. And in the beginning seasons of A Different World, she made certain that everybody knew it. Her mother fed into a lot of her type 3, her boastful personality. If you remember, on the day of her wedding, she was like, baby, you are marrying a senator.
Yes.
Like, you're about to be a senator's wife. Like, just playing all into that. She had a Mercedes in college. She had fur coats. I mean, like, Whitley had the best of the best. So if you remember one episode, she was failing math. And Colonel Taylor told her, like, if you don't pass, you're not going to be able to graduate.
Right, that's a wrap.
So she had gotten Dwayne to be her tutor, but she kind of wanted Dwayne to kind of like do her work for her, so she wouldn't have to do it. And he was like, no, that's not how this works. The Rees, they like to be the one to motivate everyone else, but if they feel like I'm being exposed for something that I'm not, that's a trigger for them. So she didn't want to be exposed for being the dumb girl who couldn't pass this math class. If you remember, Dwayne was dating Keanu. She hated that girl. She called that girl every day but Keanu. She called that girl Coca-Cola, Coco. Like, she called that girl everything.
Wait, so I forgot about that episode. Oh my God.
She called that girl everything but Keanu because she was mad that Keanu was dating Dwayne and she wanted Dwayne.
Yeah.
She could not be seen amongst her friends as the failure, as the one who lost the man. And if you remember the episode where they were having like some sort of trivia or something or another, and it was like Hillman College against Avery, and the other school actually won. And as Keeney was standing there with her trophy and Dwayne, she was like, "You may have got the trophy, but I'm gonna get the man." Like, that's so type threes. Type threes are, they coming for you.
Competitive. Yeah, so competitive.
Yes, they are coming for you. So, and then the other episode I wanted to bring up about Whitley was, if you remember when she went to meet Dwayne's family in New York for Christmas, she wanted to take that Stubling Santa, and they were like, that's ugly, don't give that to his mother. And she was like, no, like, it's class, like, this is what the upper elite get for Christmas, you know. And she ended up coming in there with her fur on, ended up getting robbed, but that's neither here nor there. But she had to give off an image to Mrs. Wayne, aka Patti LaBelle. She had to give off this image to her that, you know, I got the best of the best. Like, your son is good with me, and I'm gonna make certain that you have this ugly Santa too, you know, regardless. So
she was persnickety.
My goodness. And if you remember when she had came into the house, she was like, made some comment about her cooking. She was like, "Oh, Mrs. Wayne, it looks like you've spent your whole life in the kitchen." Like, wait, what?
Like, hold up, sis. Now wait a minute. But yes, child, she was something else. She was something else. But you know, it's amazing that, as you know, as you recall all these different episodes, and of course, I haven't seen A Different World in forever, but as you know, you bring to remembrance those particular episodes, I'm like, yes, that is absolutely the truth. That is, you know, it makes sense. You know, adding it into the different personality types. I'm like, okay, Whitley, I see you.
Yes, Whitney was definitely type 3 personality all the way. But she tried to hang on in the end. If you remember the episode where after her and Dwayne had gotten married and their mothers had came for Thanksgiving, and she didn't want to tell her mother they were broke, so she like used the curtains on the window and made a dress like out of the drapes at the window, because like she couldn't part ways to let her mother know the truth that they had been robbed and that they were broke, and she had lost her job. And that's type threes. They will do whatever they got to do to keep pushing that image, because that image is actually what motivates other people to want to come along too. So if you have a girlfriend, a good girlfriend that has these tendencies, be kind. Don't cut her off. I know it's very easy to label people and be like, she's a snob, she's bougie, she's stuck up, she's a show off. But type threes, they're great motivators to keep everybody going. So be kind.
And they, of course, they mean well. You know, they mean well, but you know, they just, like you said, they sometimes fall into the category where it's really a facade. They're trying to keep up that image until they can get it together, you know, kind of bring it back in. So yeah. Wow.
So type fours, I'm a 4.
True.
True. So 4 would be Sinclair from Living Single. So we're back at Living Single. Sinclair would be a 4. Sinclair was always felt good just being herself. She didn't care. Like, she dressed any kind of way. Whatever she thought is what she thought. She was good with that. She gave her time and her talent. She wanted to be an actor, even though she worked as a secretary at Khadijah's magazine, company. It didn't matter. Like, Sinclair was totally herself with the little trolls on her desk. Nothing could take her away from being herself. And one of the things about 4s is that they're able to feel a lot of times what other people are feeling on a very deep level. So it's like, you know, I felt wounded before. 4s will go really deep with you. And they're like, really? Me too. So while we're creatives and we're not like everybody else, like we're the yellow umbrella sticking out of a bunch of black ones, we're able to experience emotion with people that others might just generally overlook. And one thing about Sinclair, if you know anything about her character, when people would get upset, she would always pat them on the shoulder. She'd be like, woo, woo, woo,
Yes.
woo, woo, woo.
Sinclair, okay? And she wasn't afraid to be who she was. You know, like you said, she could stick out, but she was proud of just that. You know, and so and that definitely is you, you know, like, okay.
Yes, I am gonna be the one that's gonna get married and have a different headpiece on. I didn't want to bail, didn't want to be that. I just wanted to be different.
Let me just say, for the people who don't know, my good sis came down that aisle, honey, in that blazing heat of 1,007 degrees.
1007.
What was it? July 20th?
July 20th.
Child, the hottest day of all the year of 2019.
I know. I was so grateful.
When I say she came down that aisle looking fantastic, fabulous, that headpiece was rocking. Listen, all of it was amazing. Like, yeah, you did that.
Thank you.
Just for that, I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and pilfer through your pictures and post it just so that people will know what I was referring to. They need to see this live and in person. Like, fabulous.
Thank you.
But it was so indicative of who you are, though. It was unique. You know, I had never ever seen anyone rock a headpiece like that, ever. But it was who you are, and it embraced all of your class, all of you know, your creativity, you know, just did that. Point blank and period. And if I didn't pay so much for this mic, I'd drop it.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that.
No. Darius and I, we didn't plan on sending cash apps tonight to replace broken equipment. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But jumping into 5, Enneagram 5s, they are the investigators. They are very, very smart people. Very smart people. They're the ones that typically like to hang out in the back of the room, kind of just observe everything. They're great researchers, so much so that Enneagram 5s, they research to the point where they don't want anybody to prove them wrong. It's like they don't want you to have information that they don't have. Right. So they research to that extent. Like I said, Enneagram 5s, they're most likely your introvert that's hanging out in the back, that's really quiet, that's to themselves. They really don't like doing a lot of interaction. They can, but they really don't prefer it. So this person may not fit the mold of being very introverted, but they certainly fit the mold of doing their research and knowing what they're talking about. And that's none other than Maxine Shaw. Maxine Shaw, attorney at law. The Maverick. Like, Maxine Shaw, she knew everything. There was nothing that you could argue with Max on that she did not know to a T. The girl was brilliant.
Yes.
Simply brilliant on that show. I loved how her and Kyle, they would go back and forth. It didn't matter. The girl was still smart. She could outsmart anybody. Like, her comebacks, her wit,
yes,
was just always on
snapbacks, retorts,
all the time,
coming from the jugular real quick,
all the time. So much so that as the show progressed on, she actually stopped practicing law and went on to be an alderman in New York. The girl was smart. She was brilliant. And that's what 5s are. They're very smart mentally. Like, it's very rare that anybody would be able to outthink a 5, because 5s do a lot of research. They read a lot of books. They're book readers. So, like, people be like, I'm a 5. How often do you read? Oh, I don't like to read. Oh,
yeah.
I know it looks like the cool quality, but 5s are real readers. They are real readers. So that's the 5, and then we jumping into the 6. 6s are loyalists. They are loyal to the core. Whatever it is that needs to get done, leave it to a 6. They are They on their way to get it done. 6s, I said that's Khadijah.
Yes.
Khadijah James. She was loyal to the core. She always looked out for her friends, always looked out for her staff at the magazine office. And if you remember, before I go there, part of being a 6 is that when things don't go according to plan, they begin to experience anxiety.
Yeah.
So they get a little, oh my gosh, this is not going how I planned. Like, we are supposed to be able to get to the end of this mission. Everybody's here. Why is this not going according to plan? Let's stick to the plan. If it doesn't go according to the plan, they begin to get nervous. And so if you remember one episode, Khadijah couldn't pay the printer for the magazine. Right. And they was about to snip her off. And Max came through and was like, I'll just cut you a check and you'll just pay me back. Right. And she was like, literally freaking out. How am I going to get this done? And Max came through as an Enneagram 5 friend would, came through and saved the day. Right. And another episode was when Khadijah was dating the guy Scooter. And he had left and went somewhere. I don't know, LA, Japan. He went somewhere. And he just stopped calling her. And she said, I sat by the phone and waited for you to call me. And you never did. And as a result of him not calling her, like continuing the relationship, her life just started spiraling out of control. And she actually had to go to therapy, and her therapist was played by Jasmine Guy.
That's right.
Her therapist was played by Jasmine Guy.
I forgot about that.
Because her life had just spiraled out of control, and she's like, Khadijah, you need to take a break. This has a lot to do with your relationship. And as women, sometimes we do foolishly wait for men.
Let me just sip on my tea. Because wait for who? And I'm guilty. I've been there, done that, but not no more, honey. If you ain't long for the ride, well, this train finna leave.
What time is it?
And that's the thing about life. You know, I think about it and I'm like, when a train, a plane, a bus, or whatever has a time schedule, right? And when that bus or plane, whatever, leaves, it takes off, it pulls out of the station, it ain't going back. It ain't making a U-turn to come back for you because you weren't quite ready. No, sis. But we're gonna stay on track because.
So if you have a friend that is an Enneagram 6 and she is a loyalist to the core, but sometimes gets a little anxious when things don't go according to plan, just be patient. Yes. Just be patient with her.
Jennifer says she has to be a 6. And I think she meant to say this is also interesting. But yes, I'd agree, Jen. You are definitely a 6. She's definitely, but just one of my most loyal friends. And so grateful that she's chiming in on Facebook Live tonight.
Hey, Jen.
But yeah, it's just amazing. And it is so interesting. And this is why I wanted to have you on, because it's so enlightening to recognize who you are and who those around you are as well. So this way we can better work together, because the reality is you can't have a bunch of 1s. You can't have a bunch of 7s. You need really all of them. You need all 9.
Yeah, you need a variety of friends. And I think that we do ourselves a lot of harm in life by just cutting people off. Like, no, I'm gonna get rid of him. I'm gonna get rid of her. I don't need her in my life. That's da. And it's like, wait a minute, slow up. As I like to say often, time out cream of wheat. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, because I never did like cream of wheat, so I'll be quick to snip.
Time out. Like, pause. Give it a second. Like, we react so quickly off of our emotions that just because you feel this way today doesn't mean that you'll feel that way in an hour or so. And we got to remember to leave room Leave space for the Holy Spirit to come in and speak. We be so quick to make decisions, to cut people off, to stop being friends, to walk away, to block people. And it's just like, what are we doing all of that even for?
Yes.
I mean, now, if there's a legitimate reason, then of course you want to put those boundaries in place. But if we're just unfriending somebody because, you know, I'm tired of her telling us that she got a fur coat or she going away to Aruba. Well, dang, she's your friend. That's your motivator. She's the one that's getting you to the next place. She's the one that's saying you're at spot 2 today. I can make certain that by the end of the year, you're at spot 5. Like she's the one that's pulling the crew. Like if I got it, if I got the 10,000 square foot home, you can have the 10,000 square foot home too. God has no respect of person. Come on, let's all go.
That's it.
But because there's so much jealousy or envy sometimes that Satan just weaves all up and through, we're just cutting people off. And like you said, we need a variety of friends. Every part of the body is needed to fulfill God's work here in the earth.
Yes.
The eye can't say to the ear, I have no need for you. I need you in order to get this job done.
Point blank and period. And that's it, and that's all.
Period. So let's jump into 7. 7 is the free spirit. 7 is
talk about those 7s, honey.
7s are the free spirit. They are the ones where any and everything goes. Are we jumping out of a plane today?
Let's jump.
Let's do it. And let's come on, everybody. What are we doing? Like 7s are always on the go. They are like the life of the party. 7s are the life of the party. They're the ones that get everybody else amped. They're the ones that are saying, happy hour starts at 5, but we're going to leave work at 4 and go play with Nerf guns in the parking lot. Like, those are the 7s. Those are the 7s. And so I said that Freddie from A Different World.
Oh, yes.
Was a complete 7. Freddie was just, I'm here, I'm there. I need to be centered, as she would say. I need to be centered. All of that. And one of the things that 7s sometimes deal with is they have this tank inside of them where no matter how much you put in, it's never quite enough. They're always searching for more. My daughter is a 7. And so I know that very well, that if Darius and I constantly give to this 14-year-old, it's never enough for her. So we, as her parents, have had to learn how to slow up, because if not, we'll go bankrupt for a 14-year-old. And it's not really our motivation. So one of the things about Freddie is that she wanted Shazza and she wanted Ron towards the end of A Different World. She was just like, it's not enough. I want him, but I want him too.
Yeah. Thank God for the Holy Spirit that I'm no longer there. I'm just trying to get one to act right. Like just one, Jesus. Just come on, give me one that want to get right. Like that's all I want. That's all I want. But of course, Jen says, Dewana all day, LOL. I love you for this because I'm on a strict schedule. And that is the absolute truth. I'm always kind of just, let's go with the flow. If, I'll hit people up. And your witness, I've texted you and said, oh, well, this is going on tomorrow. And those of you who have those strict schedules are like, child, please, my week is already planned out. And I'm like, let's just go.
This is true. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm looking at my calendar and I'm like, that's this Saturday, Dewana. It's Thursday night at 9:30. That's this. So you want me to be able to do this?
Yes. But nonetheless, it all makes sense now. Just call me 7.
Total free spirit. And 7s are needed because 7s are the friends that need to remind you to have fun, relax, take a load off, do something that you've never done before, take risks. Live the life that God has given you to live it and live it well and enjoy it. So 7s are definitely needed. And Freddie was a darn good friend on a different world too, a darn good friend. And then 8s are challengers.
Wait, before you go to 8, I'm cracking up because Jen said she be like, let me know or I'll ask someone else. LOL. I'm not that bad.
You're not that bad.
But I will say, listen, I'm going to put it out there. Of course, I come up with these fly-by-night ideas, right? I accept it. I've come to grips with it. And it's either you with it or you ain't. I'm still going. I'm going. So either you going to hop on the bus with me or I'll tell you about it when I get back. That's just how it is. And I understand, and I'm okay with the fact that everybody can't go. Like I'm as much as I'd love for you to be able to drop everything and be like, you know what, I'm out. But I understand, at least now. There wasn't always a time when I understood. Because I used to take it personal. Like, what she mean? She can't be ready by tomorrow to go, to Hawaii. What you mean? But now that I understand, and clearly I've lived some life. I've been in relationships, had children, all that good stuff. So the reality is, yes, I come up with these ideas. I'm going. Either you can roll with me or you can't. I'll tell you about it all when I get back, honey. Okay. No love lost.
Did you see my
friends over there cracking up?
Did you see the one is like, did you see my pictures on Facebook? Because I showed y'all that I had a good time. Now I told y'all that I was going. I know I told y'all 30 minutes before I left the house, but I told y'all that I was going. I remember you had did that 1 year for your birthday. I forgot what day it was, but you was just like, I'm going out for brunch for my birthday on Saturday. It's going to be at such and such a place in Annapolis.
That was 2020. That was before all hell broke loose with the pandemic.
I was like, yep.
But you showed up. But you showed up, though. Okay. And was there before I got there.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how about that?
Yeah, I was rocking with the free spirit that day. I was rocking with
how
the
about
free
that
spirit.
for some friendship, sister girl?
Yes, yes. So 8s are challengers. They're the ones that will go back and forth with you. If you say the sky is black, they'll be like, it's red. They're the ones that are always time enough for you. They're a good friend to have because when you find yourself in a pickle or in a pinch, they're the ones that'll come through, and they're the ones that'll fight your case like they're your attorney. Like, woo, I ain't know that. Like, here come my friend coming through, and sometimes they may be labeled as just being argumentative. I don't like to be around her. She always got a problem with something. Everything is always a problem. Not so. They're the friend that will really concern themselves with what's going on with you and look out for you and stand up for you when you need it. So I said an 8 is Pamela James from Martin.
Yes.
Pam will go toe to toe for her friends. Even Martin. She would be going toe to toe with Shanae. She ain't care. She be going toe to toe with Kilolo. She be going toe to toe with all, like, she did not care. Like,
whoever can get it.
Her crew was her ride or die on that show. Like, she was always coming through for her friends all the time. And so that's who I said for 8. And then the last one, 9. 9s are the peacemakers. They're the ones that are like right there in the middle. They see everybody's point of view. They don't want to agree too much with you and not too much with them because they want to keep the peace amongst everybody.
Don't want to ruffle any feathers or anything.
Right. And so she may be the friend where she's saying, I agree with her, but I see where you're coming from too. And you have a point, but she. And so the 9 I selected as Jeanna from Martin. And so Jeanna was definitely a peacemaker in the middle of it all. If you remember the one episode where she was trying to throw Martin a surprise party. And she was trying to get people together to come to the party, and they were like, your husband is rude and all of this and this and this and that. And she was just like, oh, like she was like recounting in her mind where she had to actually come to grips with the fact that nobody was coming to her man's birthday party because he was rude. And so that's the 9. Those are all the 9 different Enneagram types on the diagram. And so I hope that trying to pair them with a character on a Black TV sitcom was helpful to understand.
I believe it truly was. I know it was for me. And it looks like most of the individuals who've been able to chime in live have agreed as well. And so I'm grateful. And I mean, it's 9 o'clock. Like, girl, you did that. You did that. But yeah, I mean, I really feel like, girl, you did that. You did that. I'm like,
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I really like, girl, you did that. You did that. I'm like, and so Jen actually says it's super helpful. She wants to learn more. So let's talk about how individuals can reach out to you. And so Jen actually, I don't know why this thing is making all this noise. All right, whatever it is, maybe not. Okay, I don't know.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but for some reason I was getting some feedback there for a second, but it sounds like it's gone away now. I can hear you. But and see, now I hear myself again. There for a second, but it's. Do you have Facebook up or something? For a second, but it's. Because that could be it. Do you have Facebook up or something?
I cannot hear you at all on my screen.
Let's see.
I cannot hear you at all. I don't know why.
Child, the devil mad. You know that's how he get.
I cannot hear you at all. This is horrible. I'm so sorry. It seems like something happened.
All right, can you hear me now? Anything different?
Nope.
Still can't hear me?
I see your lips moving, but I can't hear you.
Like, I don't know sign language. Oh my goodness.
So let me try to sign out and sign back in. So give me a second. Let me try to sign out and sign back in.
Y'all, listen. Y'all already know the devil be mad. That's how he works. She done got on here, shared all this great information. And Jen, yes, I almost did hold up a sign. Definitely almost held up a sign. But yeah, we get on here, we share all this great information. God show out, do his thing, and here that fool come. But we ain't gonna stop. We gonna keep pushing. Let's try it again. Let's see if
there we go.
Now. Come on, Jesus. Listen. This is I've embraced this as part of my life. Anytime I do anything for the kingdom, anything that Jesus asked me to do, here that fool come, and he just be trying it. And I'll be like, now, you would have thought you would have left me alone by now. You would have thought you'd understand that every time you mess with me, I come back bigger, better, bolder. But you just want to keep messing with me.
Yeah.
So now when we come back and we really, we scuffling, we done put the Vaseline on our face. Now we done took our earrings off. We ready. We here with it. Like, what you finna do? Y'all gotta forgive me. The Philly be right here at all times. If it wasn't for the Holy Spirit, that thing would always jump out. But it'd be right here. It'd be ready. It'd be ready.
That John be always.
It definitely, listen, it'd be ready. But I'm grateful for friendships like this that you already know what time it is. You know, we're not going to give up. We're not going to stop just because of a little technical difficulty. And so, but as I was sharing, just the fact that, you were able to share this in such an enlightening way, in such a relatable way. These are all characters that we have watched over the years. And, we grew up watching. I mean, I'm only 21, so, I only started a little while ago. But I love how you just roll with it. Like, yeah, sure.
Why not? That's the 7 in her, guys. That's the 7. As the 7 friend, you just roll with it.
Yes. But I truly appreciate you. Let me see what Jen is saying. Jen saying, I love understanding psychology and sociology and how we are created and why we act how we act. If I wasn't a professional hairstylist, I'd be doing that. That is very interesting. What? Now, wait a minute. Now, Jen got me questioning our whole relationship, y'all. She talking about except Martin. I don't watch that show. Now, sis.
I'm
like, wait. Now, sis.
So
I love you, but now hold up. Now we done went too far.
So, Jen, then I probably should be the one to tell you that you're no longer allowed to participate in Black History Month. You're just going to have to skip right past February and just go straight from January to March because that's unacceptable.
I'm like, how, Jen? How? Like, what? If there was any show that I could never live without, it is definitely, listen, I've got to have my Martin. Martin, like what? Yeah, we gotta have a talk, sis. We gotta have a talk for real. But I'm definitely grateful. I mean, I do appreciate you, coming in, sharing from such a, what's the word I'm looking for? Just, again, relatable. It was obviously knowledgeable, something that we could all take away from and, refer back to. And especially as we continue to, to interact with our sister girls, we can identify like, oh, okay, I see, she is a 7, or, oh yeah, she is a 3, and be able to find ways to, to commune better, if you will, to be able to, to focus on the strengths. And the fact of the matter is that, like you said, the ear, the eye, the nose, the leg, all of those parts are needed. There's no one part that's better than the other. Like, and you'll realize that, like, if you cut your finger, child, that finger be feeling like you about to like lose it. And you never thought that something so, small would be such a huge part, but it is. It is. And I feel like that's exactly the case with, with our sister girls, no matter what type they are, and so just being able to embrace them for who they are and who they're growing to be, continuing to grow. And even those that we try to cut off, as I sip my tea on that note, it's scalding. But
yeah, on that note.
Yes, before the glitch, we were talking about how an individual can, connect with you, because I know Jen especially had mentioned that she liked to get more information. She possibly like to be, to be a client of yours. So how does one find you?
Yes, so I am on Instagram under the Harbett Agency, and that's HARBETT Agency, the Harbett Agency. My email, if you want to shoot me an email, feel free at the Harbett Agency at gmail.com. And I look forward to hopefully hearing from you.
Yes. And so I want to definitely say again, thank you so much for taking time out tonight. I have been looking forward to this since the moment we scheduled. I have been like, yes, like I cannot wait. And so definitely, again, thank you to my bro for allowing you, the opportunity this evening. Even to my boo-boo thing, Reagan, appreciate her, letting her mama have some time to share with us tonight. So of course I don't want to, keep anybody any longer. It's 9:09 and I love you. I mean it. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
I love you too. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great sitting amongst you and your followers tonight. And hopefully we can do it again
Yes,
sometime.
let's do it again. We definitely, well, it's almost our birthday, so you already know what time it is.
It's gonna be a situation.
A situation.
It's gonna be a situation. It's gonna be a situation. It's
Yes,
gonna be a
Lord.
hostile takeover.
Hostile indeed. But indeed, guys, wherever you might be checking in from, whether it's Facebook Live, YouTube Live, if you catch this on Spotify or Google Podcasts, wherever it is that you are listening or watching, I want to thank you with all of my heart. I appreciate your support. Thank you for liking, for commenting, for sharing, for subscribing, for going to runmemycrown.com and being a supporter. We so appreciate you. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Smooches.